Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I'm George. We're all George. So, happy Friday. Today we got to talk about what's going on with the US market. Looks like it wants to turn red and it's about to open in about a minute. But let's take a look at that. And also, of course, let's look at Bitcoin. Several very, very bullish indicators. There's the market bell. Has signaled green, has flipped to the upside. So let's talk about these signals and metrics, and let's talk about Bitcoin and crypto. So welcome, guys. Good morning. Look at this. US market is red right now. It's about to open red, and we have one man to thank for this, and it's not Chair Powell if you're thinking that. No, it's not. It's actually Fed Bullard. Yesterday, St. Louis Fed President Bullard has brought up this notion that, hey, we're not aggressive enough with our rates. So now he's making it sound like Powell has to be more aggressive, not only with the next FOMC meeting, but also the one after that, and also the one after that. He just raised the target fund rate by himself. It was 5%, and we had hints that maybe it could be lower than that. And now he's like, no, 5% is not enough. We got to go to 5.25%, right? Like, he just spooked the market for no reason. And that is why now a lot of people like Goldman Sachs are predicting there's going to be 3 more rate hikes instead of 2 or maybe 1 because of what he said. Right? I was very furious yesterday learning about what he was, saying or what he had said, and it just destroyed yesterday's really good momentum. But you know what? We may gain that back today. Look at this. Bitcoin's at 23.9. Looks like it wants to shatter 24,000 once again. So today could be a good day. One thing I didn't note, though, is DXY shot up, too, after those remarks. So whenever DXY goes up, not really good. But maybe DXY topped out yesterday around 104.6. Now it's down a little bit. So like I said, whenever DXY goes up, that means there's a lot more fear in the market. People turn to dollars, right? And that's usually a not good thing. But you know what? Bitcoin doesn't care. All right. Well, yes, I take that back. Short-term volatility, yes, still exists due to these macro conditions, macro factors, right? But long-term, Bitcoin does not care. And Bitcoin has flashed some very, very bullish green signals, okay? There's actually several of them. One I never heard of, but one I know you guys have heard of before. So that is this. The 200 weekly moving average. Bitcoin throughout its history has only broken below its 200 weekly moving average like a few times, all right? And usually it's for a very short amount of time. This time around, we were hugging that 200 weekly moving average. We were hugging on the downside, meaning that it was actually resistance for Bitcoin. Right? And the reason being because we had a whole lot of catastrophes in 2022, including the last one, FTX, that pushed us further down, right? But we have just broken above that. This is the one metric that almost every Bitcoin trader looks at. And they use this as kind of like a bottom indicator, right? And whenever we hit it or go slightly below, this is like the ultimate signal to buy. And we have just flipped above, and normally speaking, you can see what happens when we are above or we utilize it as a bottom, right? Good things happen afterwards. Really good things happen afterwards. So this is number one. But that's not all. There's another guy on Twitter. He presents a new one I never heard of before, DCA indicator. Now, I know what DCA means, dollar cost average, but what is this DCA indicator? Basically, there's this indicator where if you just put $1 a day, you DCA $1 worth of Bitcoin every single day, and then you measure whether or not you're profitable or not. And you could be in the red for quite some time, and then eventually you're in the green again, and that's all this is measuring, right? And And whenever you flip to the green, whenever you flip into profitability, that's usually when Bitcoin does really good things. This has only flashed 3 times before in its history. So you could see we just broke through, right? And for reference, this is what happened in 2020 when we were coming off that COVID crash, right? We also flipped up with that DCA indicator, and then look at what happened, right? I mean, tremendous, tremendous run. Yes, even though, I mean, when zoomed out, it looks like it's just, going up infinitely right away. But no, I mean, there's still a volatility period. It still took months before we went all the way up to 64,000, but still, it was the beginning. It was the beginning of the bull run. Here's another one. Same thing. This is back earlier, the previous cycle, in 2015, when, again, that indicator flashed, and look at what Bitcoin did afterwards. Again, a lot of up and downs, but still, it was the start of the bull trend, right? And this metric just turned green. So, do we start the next bull trend or bull run already? You can make the case that we did. It's going to take some time. It's going to take some time before we get all the way back up. But, and speaking of the bull run, we're at 24.1 again, 24.2. Look at that. Look at that. I should have threw my 5x long this morning. I don't have it open, but but you know what? We got some bullish signals, okay? We got some very bullish signals going on right now that's indicating great things are coming for Bitcoin. Here's another one. Okay, this is an RSI cross. Let me remove my camera here. So again, looking at long term, going back two cycles ago, right? You could see you have these descending wedges, and usually when we break out of that wedge, good things happen, okay? And you look at the RSI when it starts turning bullish, when it starts crossing over, very, very bullish, okay? Again, it's the start of the bull run. Well, you can make that argument, okay? The bull run is going to take a long time, but it starts somewhere. It starts usually when you recover from bottom. And then here's another one, right? Indicating basically the same thing. You look at these previous times when Bitcoin hit a bottom, then it starts recovering, then it enters its, I don't know, it's top, right? it hits a top, and then it takes a breather and comes back down, right? So there's just so many of these, so many of this, so many of these signals, so many metrics, so many indicators, and moving averages and everything else that you can measure Bitcoin with. And they're all very, very bullish. That's why recently I said overall, I'm feeling more greedy than conservative these days, right? Because I do believe we have found that bottom at $15. I do believe we are in recovery mode right now. And I do believe as we get closer and closer and closer to the next halving event, great things will come to Bitcoin, and greater things will come to Bitcoin after the halving event. And that's about 1 year away. That's how I feel. And plus the macro conditions I feel like are improving. It's just that Bullard made some stupid comments yesterday. But outside of that, I think macro conditions are also improving. All right. Besides this, what else is going on? Well, Bitcoin miners, recently there's been a lot of headline news about Bitcoin miners, because not only are they adding a ton of Bitcoin mining rigs, which means they're not giving up. They continue to hash and increase their hash power, which means they make more, or it does mean they make more Bitcoin, but they also have to do it to stay competitive because Bitcoin's difficulty keeps going up. But you hear a lot of these miners, they just keep adding away. And plus, not only that, their stocks are doing very well. CleanSpark is publicly traded, but you have like HUD 8, Marathon, what's the other one? Galaxy Digital. I mean, there's a ton of them out there, right? They're all starting to come up. Plus, you have these big investors that are also buying into them, right? Like Fidelity, like BlackRock. You know, they're all getting scooped up right now, right? So another signal, another bullish signal that, yeah, adoption is happening. You got the big boys that are coming in, and we're closing in the next halving event. Is all very bullish things. All right, now what else? I don't know if this is bullish, but Japan announces launch of their new CBDC. CBDCs are hot. It seems like every country and their central bank is interested in coming out of CBDC, and not for the right reasons. Not because they believe in freedom for the people. Not because of that, okay? Certainly not for crypto trading. This is meant to control the people further. With CBDCs, with digital money, basically, they could control people more so than ever. And they could still apply monetary policy, right? They could ease and tighten. They could mint out more money as much as they want, but more importantly, they can track people and their spending and where money is moving to very, very, very easily. This is why every country, once they understood what CBDC can do, they're like, oh yeah, let's go, let's do it. They're all gung ho about it. So I'm not so sure this is good, but it is coming. It is coming. But do CBDCs threaten Bitcoin? The answer is no. No, they're two separate things. Nowhere close to being the same. Also, a couple just smaller news. NBA Top Shot, you guys know from Flow. Flow Labs or Flow Chain has several big NFT projects on top, like NBA Top Shot. They start with that. And I didn't even know they came out with NFL All Day and UFC Strike, right? But basically, one of the problems with, onboarding users is that it's hard to get them to use crypto to buy things. So now NBA Top Shot is going to mobile, and because of that, they're going to allow people to use Apple Pay and Google Pay to be able to get involved with NFTs within these dApps, right? And I think that makes sense, because a lot of newcomers that may be interested in basketball and may want to buy it, they may not want to, buy ETH or Flow to be able to buy NFTs, right? So give them a direct inlet, I guess, by opening up payments to Apple and Google, because there's millions and millions and millions and millions of people that use them. So it makes sense. Also, MetaMask. MetaMask is partnering up with Mercurial. Kind of the same thing. It's a fiat on-ramp, right? That also accepts Google Pay and Apple Pay. And it's just another on-ramp, right? People are wondering, hey, if I don't want to use the centralized exchanges or they all get shut down, how am I going to buy my crypto? Well, through companies and services like this. So that there's a lot of these fiat on-ramps. Alchemy Pay is another one, in case you guys are wondering. But they help a lot of wallet makers or just wallet providers or DEXs to have fiat on-ramp so that users could buy directly within them. So positive overall. And then lastly, yesterday, the SEC and Gary Gensler charged Kwon, right? And I said it was just stupid. What's the point? But it seems like Gary found something. I don't know if he found something or this was already common knowledge and he just threw it in there. But supposedly, Kwon cashed out about $100 million worth of BTC via Swiss bank. And this could be the reason why Kwon is living nicely and being able to flee everywhere, because he has $100 million with him. I don't know where this came from, but this is something that Gary is alleging, right? But still, the South Korean authorities, they're trying to get him right now in Serbia. It's been reported, and he's going to face much tougher charges in South Korea. So again, I don't know. It's good to have this information, but again, why Gary is filing, you know, his fraud case like a year afterwards? It's a little too late. It's a little too late. All right. So the U.S. market is still in the red, open in the red, but look at Bitcoin, 24.2. Bitcoin does not give a F about the stock market right now. It is in recovery mode. It has started the next bull run, and great things will come. And Polygon is still going strong, man. Polygon's going really strong today and yesterday. Polkadot is starting to catch on fire. And then Filecoin, I don't know what the hell happened with Filecoin, up 32% today. Lido, ICP, you got several good movers today. Elrond, Theta, Rocket Pool, Clayton. Looking like today could be a good day. Continuation of yesterday. Can we hit 25,000 again today? We're only 800 points away. Certainly possible. All right, let's do some Q&A. All right. Let's see here. Crypto Dream, new member, welcome. Let's see. Can CBDCs replace the dollar and BTC illegals? I think I just answered that. It will replace this dollar. It's an equivalency of the dollar in digital format, but no, it does not affect Bitcoin. Let's see. Still scrolling. Can you show us the greed index? It's probably still like neutral. Crypto greed. Oh no, it turned into greed. 61. Last week was neutral, so it's a little bit more. People are a little bit more greedy. Braja, appreciate it. We need. Looks like there's a battle going on right now. Should I trust Binance with your money? I don't know. You determine that. But in terms of exchanges, they are the biggest. All right. Good morning. Are we live? Yes, I'm live. I'm not a AI bot. Vladimir, just last night I talked about Matic. Oh, you're asking about Magic? Magic is just it pumps and dumps a lot because it's I don't know. It's just pumping and dumping a lot. There's really nothing magical about it. I did talk about them like a week ago or 2 weeks ago. They produce a lot of NFT games. They're all about NFT games. And, not only do they have, it's not just NFT games, but metaverses. They have their own and they help others create their own. So they're kind of in that, gaming space. It looks promising. Have I covered Cospa before? No. Because there's too many people that ask about him only. So I'm sorry to say, when I get an enormous amount of people asking about a relatively new coin, it's usually because it's pumping and people want to FOMO in, or it's about to dump. One of the two. But I haven't looked at it yet. I will. Everything is measured in dollar cost equivalent. Do you think it'll eventually be measured in sats? I like to think so, but then that means BDC replaces dollar as the reserve currency. It could happen one day. What better currency than Bitcoin? But I don't know. It'll be measured in whatever the reserve currency is. How can you justify crypto valuations? You really can't. The best way to look at it is this. Crypto evaluations are different than stock evaluations, okay? So when I look at market cap and I say it's cheap or expensive, it's based on its peers and others in this space, okay? But if you're like, if you're looking at like someone like Cardano at like $14 billion, right? Are they really worth $14 billion? If in the real world, $14 billion publicly traded company has, thousands and thousands of employees and possibly, stores around the world. I know if you look at it that way, it's different, but that's just the way crypto is. Crypto evaluations are high. It's because people believe in the future, and that's how much money there is in this space. I don't trust anything pan from Justin Sun or controlled by Justin Sun, so it's a no to me. Man, we're going deeper in the green. Deeper in the red today. So let's go pull things down. Coinbase had, they started out red, they went into green, and then they ended red yesterday. They're a little bit more red today. Tesla is a little bit more red today. They completely flipped yesterday. MicroStrategy is red today. What? No. MicroStrategy turned green? No. It just didn't update. They turned red. Yeah, the market just spooked based on what Bullard said yesterday, and now 3 more rate hikes predicted by banks. I don't know. Just kind of like he needs to just keep his mouth shut. That's what I think. Let Powell do his job, all right? Let Powell be the one to communicate what the Fed is going to do. What is DXY? Is DXY going up? Yeah, DXY is very high, 104. We want to see that break below 100. I contacted my Congress person yesterday to investigate Gensler for attacking crypto and possibly criminal behavior. Good for you. More people need to do that. I mean, recently he's been attacking crypto so much. I think it's because he got very embarrassed and he's sitting on a hot seat for missing out on FTX. So I don't, I think he's overcompensating at this point. VY, is that year? I forgot what VYFY is. Vi Finance? That's way, way, way too small, my man. I guess it's some kind of DeFi plan, Cardano, but it's way too small to be looking at right now. Any news on why we're dumping? Actually, it looks bad, but we basically just got rid of the George effect gains from the beginning. But we were around this point. It's due to this. There's no news. Sometimes there's no news. It's just based on what investors are doing. And investors are worried about more rate hikes. That's basically it. Every time there's a FOMC meeting, every time there's a rate hike, every time Powell speaks, people pay attention. Investors, they feel the FUD, right? And the last few meetings, the last few press conferences, Powell has been pretty good. He remains focused on his goal of bringing down inflation, but he was starting to turn dovish until you got guys like Bullard and all these other Fed presidents and governors, and then they're just opening their mouth, and now they're also affecting the markets too. It's not their business, okay? They don't need to get the glory. It seems like they're just doing all these press conferences and interviews because they feel left out. They feel like, oh, look at me, I'm important too. I'm a Fed president. No, just shut up. Let Powell do his thing. And because of what Bullard said yesterday, now you got the whole market fearful once again. Because he's like, oh, that 5% Fed fund rate is not enough. We got to go to 5.25%. And then, that means we're at 4.5%. That means there's 0.75% left. That's either 3 more rate hikes or you got a 50 basis point one coming next time in March, then 25 basis point. I mean, this is what spooked the market. And it's just, it's just stupid. Anyways, anyone that says we're dumping, just cool. Calm down. James, I did talk about it. First ever death cross on the weekly. I see that as a bullish thing. Death cross on a longer time scale. We have seen it on the daily chart. And very often when you have a death cross on a daily chart, it's a bullish sign. Because death crosses or golden crosses, they're formed with moving averages that take a long time for one to flip above the other, right? And on a weekly especially, that means we were in a downtrend for a very long time. And it's time to flip above. So death crosses are not always bad. On a shorter time frame, yes. Longer time frame, it could actually spur the next upward movement. Mina, GRT, or Optimism. Out of the three, I think Optimism is the most prepared for the next bull run. Although GRT is also decent, but they're not L1 or L2. But they do help index chains and projects and help them create APIs. Mina is also L1, but still not really sold on Mina at this point. I hope you're not just like going on CMC and pulling like 3 projects that have moved a lot and then asking me about it. Make sure you do your research. Don't judge how good a project is just based on how much it's moving. Do you do any small cap time? I don't know what that means, James. I don't know what that means. Do I buy any small caps? Right now, no. No. Because everything I bought became like a big cap or a mid cap. I mean, it also depends on your definition of small cap because honestly, anything under, it used to be anything under $1 billion, but now that has changed. So I don't know what the definition of a small cap is now. Maybe I would say under the top 100, which is like 400 million. So anything under 400 million market cap is small cap. If so, there's still a lot of great small caps. But I think what you're asking is micro caps, like things under 10 million. And I don't pay attention to those projects. Too easily manipulated, too many pump and dumps at this point. That's the reason why. Any opinion on Brett Favre and him suing Shannon Sharp and Pat McAfee? I have no idea. I don't pay attention to football, so I don't know. I think a lot of people have been ripping on Brett Favre. This is some scandal, I forgot what. I don't really pay attention to football. James, you could just ask it. And no, I don't know anything about A0, so I can't talk about that. What's your prediction for this summer? You think we will experience something like DeFi summer from 2020? Anything can happen. Now I'm hearing about people and analysts talking about how many people from Wall Street expected the first half of this year to be very bad and then pick up the second half of this year, right? But now they're realizing that's a mistake, so they're forced to buy in. So now they're FOMOing in right now unprepared. That's what I'm hearing. I don't know how true that is, but, you know, during Q4 of last year, I'm like, you know, I don't agree with everyone. You know, macro conditions are improving. I don't see this deep recession people were predicting for the first 6 months of this year. How could it deteriorate so fast, so much within this next 6 months, right? And you know, sure enough, we started coming around. We started turning around, not just for Bitcoin and crypto, but, you know, NASDAQ and a lot of the tech stocks that has been killed in 2022. They're all recovering quite nicely too. So now I think there's a lot of FOMO. There's a lot of FOMO, but there's still a lot of fear about Powell. But overall, you know, I think we're heading up from here, not down. So by the summertime, who knows where things will be. Have you heard a lot about the new Z06 engines blowing up after the break-in period? I have not heard that. It's probably because every single Z06 owner takes on a track right away and revs it up to like 9,000 RPM, and that's why they're blowing up. I'm guessing that's why. I don't know. Yep, right back up to 24. Again, those people in the chat saying Bitcoin is dumping, you need to just cool it. Sometimes you gotta let things take course, run its course, I should say. I'm trying to decide between Tesla Y and a Nissan Ariya. Thoughts? It shouldn't even be a conversation. Nothing from Nissan is good. All right, if you want a good EV car, go with the Model Y. In terms of that compact EV space, there are some good ones, but you got to take everything into consideration, like range, power, charging stations, and then overall space and size. You just go with the Model Y. This is why it's selling like crazy, because there's very little that can compete with it. Jan, why aren't electric vehicles as powerful as diesel engines? What are you talking about? Electric vehicles are, a lot of them are way more powerful than diesel engines. The GTR is like 15 years old, man. Like when the GTR came out in like what, 2009 or 2008, I forgot what. It was great. It was a supercar killer. But now it's just like it's nothing. No one wants one. And Nissan has consistently price increased with every year, and now it's not even a bargain. Now the supercar bargain is the Corvette. It's not even close. What do you think about the FJ Cruiser? I don't know. It was okay. Toyota's equivalent of like a Wrangler or a Bronco, but it was too big, and it needed 4 proper doors, not like suicide doors in the back. I think that was silly. Hey, it looks like market's coming back a little bit. Tesla turned green. Coinbase about turning green. Silvergate turned green. Silvergate just took a massive dump yesterday. Yesterday would have really been a good day to buy in. Let's leave this up here. What do you think about a Honda NSX? I have not driven one. They look beautiful. But you know what really killed the NSX is the Corvette. NSX was created, this 3rd generation was created to be like a bargain supercar, except it was still like $150,000. But compared to the Ferraris and stuff, it was like half the price. But then it got killed by the Corvette because Corvette came out, had the same performance, and was half the price of the NSX. It was at $70,000-$80,000. That's why NSX sales, never took off. It got beat by something that's better, basically. So, and they were a little bit too ahead of their time trying to do their hybrid setup, which is now more popular. But when they did it, very little cars had that set up, so the NSX was hard to modify. You can't really tune it well. I mean, or you could, it's just more difficult. I mean, there was a lot of reasons why the NSX failed. Have I changed my mind about Dogechain? No. No, I haven't. There's no one in the Doge space that talks about it. The founders of Doge, they don't talk about it. You know, it seems like it's just a side project. If Doge themselves, their developers, or Billy Marcus talks about embracing Dogechain as an L2 for Doge, then I'll be all over it. But they're not. So that's the thing. Two best George suggestions that own Model Y and Matic. Good for you, man. Matthew, what color? Some of the, some of the bright, I forgot what the bright yellow is. I think that looks really sharp. White C8s look very sharp. You know, the blue one, black one, silver one, they look okay, but I don't know. Cryptos, moons, and Lambos. Yeah. Red with Borla exhaust. Nice. Aftermarket, I'm assuming Borla exhaust is not the high performance Z51 exhaust. I need to get a cap back for my baby, but it's very expensive and it's probably go trigger some engine check light code or something like that. Do I own a Tesla? Yes. A Model X Plaid. It's sitting in the garage right now because it has summer tires. So that's, if you're going to configure the Plaid with the 22-inch tires or wheels, just know that it has summer tires, so you can't drive in the winter. You could, it's just be stupid. George, yesterday was whale manipulation. Immutable X had 3 million coin sale at 1.25. The pump happened within the housing market. Tanked. I don't think it has any correlation with the housing market. I don't know. Mike, there's no recall. When Tesla said they're recalling, they're just doing an OTA update. That's it. They're not actually telling people to bring in their cars. That's what's deceiving about those articles. When they say, oh, yeah, we're doing recall, they're just doing a over-there update. Gerardo, when the big CB Coinbase Ponzi scheme fall, where can they go except blockchain? I don't know what you're talking about. Do you plan on getting a muscle car 60 eras or late 90s Corvette Trans Am? No. No, I would never get a 90s Trans Am or a Corvette. I would love to get a 69 Camaro or a Shelby Mustang, you know, something like that. I think the old muscle cars are cool. Hey, we're having a good... Salty pepper or salty prepper. It's different with Ferraris. I hate to say it. Any catback, any modification to exhaust triggers check engine light, and they're really hard to get rid of. I've done a lot of research. my old 360 was like that too. So it's different with some cars. What's your opinion on the Lambo NFT drop? 0, because I don't care about it. I care about real Lambos, not Lambo NFTs. Oh, CB Central Bank, not Coinbase. What did you say? When the big central banks Ponzi scheme fall, where could they go except the blockchain? Yeah, that's right. They go, people are already moving, right? We don't have to wait for that to happen, but if they do fail, it's going to be bad. It's going to be really bad. Sometimes you just... All right, yes. All right, guys, I think we had enough of casual chat for this morning. Do you think people are waiting to buy ETH when Shanghai upgrade is implemented? I think so. I think ETH has been very underperforming. You could see it. ETH just is not performing as well as Bitcoin. I think a lot of people are worried about that Shanghai upgrade, worried about massive unstaking and massive dumping. I think the opposite is going to happen. I think it takes the pressure away so that people are more likely to stake their ETH. All right, guys, I'll let you go. Happy Friday. Right now, looking good. Bitcoin is up 24,000 regardless of what the market's doing, although the US market is trying to claw back into the green. We got some very, very, very bullish signals that flip to the green, right? So Bitcoin is definitely in recovery mode. You could argue it started its path on his bull run. You can make that argument, but yeah, stay strong, my friends. Better days are coming. Enjoy your Friday, and I'll see you guys tomorrow morning, 10:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. All right, have a good one, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.